I think it is so important for filmmakers, creatives, designers, photographers to build a personal brand and put themselves out there online and create videos and put it out there on YouTube and build a community. This is something that I've been so passionate about, and I've also been kind of almost afraid of doing, as it's taken me so long to put myself out there. But I have felt so great just in the last month and a half of starting this channel, putting out my first couple of videos, and starting to build a community and connect with other people online. I've done a lot of, I feel like, community building and putting myself out there online and not being afraid to be bold in all the years in building, my business. And I've built kind of a personal brand, I would almost say locally, with my production company, Mirrorless Productions, as I've landed a lot of awesome, amazing local projects because of the relationships that I've built, here in my community and surrounding areas, and then the referrals that I've gotten for that. I mean, I would not be where I am today without it. But I'm going to tell you something that I feel is so important going into 2025. I've watched so many other cool creatives, whether it's filmmakers or creative entrepreneurs sharing business advice, talking about personal branding. I've seen them over the last year putting themselves out there more and more, sharing just awesome tips and advice and building their channel. And I've wanted to do the same. And for me, I've kind of over the last couple of years, I haven't been as vocal online. And part of that is because I've just been head down creating and growing my business. And I also got, 5 kids. So when I'm not creating or running the small business, I'm married and have kids. So I love spending time with them. But I also, love creating, and if I wasn't doing this, creating videos for clients, I'd honestly be shooting videos and just doing it for the love of it. I mean, that's what I did when I started. I started creating videos, for myself and telling my story early on at 22 after I turned my life around, before I ever created videos for clients. And I did that for quite a while. I made music, I did spoken word poetry and hip hop, and, told stories about my own personal journey of when I was first getting sober in my early 20s and going through all that. And I put myself out there online, and I'll be honest, a lot of my early content was garbage, but it got me to where I am today. It got me to creating videos for others. And early in my career, I did eventually kind of feel like, I was putting too much focus on me, and I wanted to tell other stories. I also felt like to build my skill set, I needed to work with others and collaborate more. So that's something I'm really proud of as I started creating for others. I went from creating videos for myself and making music videos to creating music videos for other local artists in my city, and then eventually all the surrounding cities. At one point in time, it was like I made every hip-hop music video for an artist in like a 60-mile radius. And I did some rock band videos and stuff like that too. And then I did wedding videos, and then I got into the commercial space with nonprofits and corporations and brands and athletes, and have done a lot of cool stuff. But I'd say I'd even attribute some of my success early on. Like, for example, when I got to have the partnership with VaynerSports and go out to the Super Bowl in 2019 and meet and work with Gary Vaynerchuk and his whole team and create several videos with their athletes through VaynerSports, I attribute some of that opportunity to putting myself out there through my business and being very active on social media. When VaynerSports and their team first reached out, back in 2018, I was being very consistent in posting on social media. And at that time, I feel like, our business Instagram and our social profiles were very active, and they were very clean, and they showed our work at the best of the ability of what we were creating and putting out at that time. And that helped me land those gigs. And essentially, just shortly after that time, early COVID, my business really took off, and it's just been word of mouth and referral. And I've been just really booked solid in the last couple of years, even during COVID. Had some really good years, did some different type of productions, no doubt. But I'm, been very proud of where that's taken me, putting myself out there online. But at the same time, as I've gotten busier in business, 2021, 2022, 2023, and going into 2024, I've been so much less active on social media. I used to share a lot on my personal account. It's been a lot less. But the funny thing is we've been busier than ever. We've been doing some really, really cool productions, stuff I wish I'd share more of. And I think for me, sometimes, I definitely get stuck in okay, we're creating this project, we have this deadline, boom, it's done, it's on to the next one. I don't get a lot of, I don't get much of a creative break, and I'm okay with that, because that's like, that's the dream right there, is that I'm booked solid, and I have been booked solid the last couple of years. So, I definitely do not want to come off like I'm complaining about that, because that is the dream. But I feel like there's been this lack of connection because of that, because I haven't put myself out there as much. I haven't been connecting with other creatives. I haven't been connecting as much with other creatives locally, and definitely not online. And I think what's so awesome about YouTube is there is such a strong and cool creative community on YouTube that genuinely wants to interact and comment and follow, that has always been there with YouTube. I mean, from the early days, I have kind of a weird relationship, I feel like, with YouTube, because when I first started out as a young creative back in 2011 and 2012, again, this is kind of back when I was making music and first starting to shoot videos, I put myself out there on YouTube. And this is back when, like, you would go onto people's channels and sub for sub and comment on their channels, and you could, I think, inbox back then on the channels. I connected with a lot of people back then, and I think YouTube was always one of my favorite platforms that had a community. And what's neat is, in just a little time I've been back on YouTube, really actively connecting with people and putting out videos on this Film Connector channel in the last month and a half, and under my personal name, Alex Belleville, I've really been seeing that community is still there 100%, just like it was back then. And I don't, maybe you're like me, but I don't always feel that community on Instagram and other platforms. I've definitely felt it on Facebook. I've had a lot of really good support locally and from family and friends, and supporting my videos, my business on Facebook. I would almost even say, actually, I'd attribute some of my success on social media to Facebook early on. We've had some really good reach and connections there of people seeing our work and referrals. But back to it, I think YouTube is number one. It always has been number one, and especially if you are in the creative field. But even if you're not, I mean, there's so many different niches, basically every niche out there of what you do or what profession or career you're in, there's videos out there for you on YouTube. I think what makes YouTube so great too is it's really, it's a search engine platform in terms of it's just like Google, where you type in something and you can find a list of things. Like when I created the first big video on the camcorder, the Sony Z200. Now, if you type in Sony Z200, that video is going to pop up on there, and that's what I think is so cool, that other platforms in social media is missing. Like if you go on Instagram, you can't, type that in and see things as perfect, right? It's really just a hodgepodge of things and tags, if it was, for example, the Sony Z200. But kind of back to really my main point of this is I've just felt this like kind of growing urge and drive in me that I've almost felt like, dude, Alex, if you do not put yourself out there and start sharing these videos, start helping people, start connecting, like the success of your career depends on you putting yourself out there. That's how I've felt. In my free time in 2024, I consumed a good amount of content, a good amount of just kind of inspiring motivational content. I'll be honest, that's probably some of my favorite content. I put in a lot of hours and a lot of times of working and editing and all that good stuff. A lot of times on my lunch break, I'll take a break and watch, a personal branding video, motivational video, a video on pricing, some type of business, creative entrepreneur advice. And I've always loved that content because I think it's been so hard for me to grow a business and get to where I am today, that content, really always does inspire and drive me. And I've taken in a lot of content, and I'm excited to kind of shift that and put that out there. But why I feel that's necessary, and I would almost argue I feel like it's necessary for all of us as filmmakers, designers, photographers, for the success of our career, is, what happens when things slow down? What happens when another pandemic or something hits? If you have a following, a community, if you have products, if you've diversified your income and you have other opportunities and other forms of income coming in from your creative abilities, and if it's especially from helping other people, that's so amazing, and that's going to also help you make it, right? And so for me, I've just, I'm diving into all these new things. Like, I know nothing about affiliate links and programs, and courses, and I'm not even saying I'm going to sell a course one day. I don't even know, but all I know is I'm putting myself out there. I'm excited to connect. I feel like us as creatives, we have to do this, but also we can help other people in the process. And that's the coolest thing. We can also help ourselves. What's really funny too for me is it's kind of like that when you take some time off. Sometimes you can be overworked, and let's say you got a lot on your plate and you're like, I got to keep working. And you're just like, mentally beat and cashed. And then when you finally take that day off, you feel amazing. You come back that next day to that project. You probably edit it or create it and work on it and finish it faster because you took some time off and you got a mental break because it did so much for you. I think that's kind of what the power of, when you're putting yourself out there, like you're connecting with other people and it's not so me. And I felt that very quickly, just even in December of 2024, after dropping the first video. I had so many of you guys commented on the video, connected with it. The video has almost 5,000 views. Maybe by the time you're watching this, it has more. And so to have, 5,000 views on my first video, that's phenomenal. But what was so cool to me was the comments and people actually engaging. And, of course, I'm taking the time to comment back, and I love that. And a lot of you guys are subscribing, so thank you. That's really just dream come true. And it feels weird to be like starting this. I'm 36 years old and I've been creating videos for over 10 years. So in some ways I kind of feel like I'm late to the game in starting this. And I know I'm not, but I just want to be real honest with you. Like, I had some thoughts of when I was starting the channel that, maybe I'm a little too late. Maybe I'm a little too old. Like, what am I talking about? No, like I have some real experience now. And I think that's kind of the cool part about waiting is I can share that with other people and I can help other people and I can connect and, really collaborate with other people down the road too. I think that's a special part of putting yourself out there is, maybe another creative that I would really get along with or, maybe want to work with on a bigger project. I now can connect with, know them, reach out to them. Hey, I got to shoot in Chicago. You want to be a second shooter on this? Hey, you want to be assistant director on this? And so it builds this, really, kind of builds your whole connection and network of people, but also, bring in the piece of client work and other brands. Like by putting yourself out there and showcasing your work, you're now showing it to the world, other big brands that, really may connect with the content you're putting out and want to hire you. I think that's something that I've been excited about is I've been really proud that I've been able to work with some bigger brands. And I've done that kind of without this big social media following or much of any social media following that I've been able to be a part of the Lumix Creators Backstage program. Again, working with some brands like Bose, Tabasco. I've had Harley Davidson post a video of ours. And, I've done that without a following. So what happens when I'm actively pursuing this and putting myself out there? The possibilities are endless. And that's what's so exciting. So I just feel like we need to be doing this as creatives. We need to be helping each other out. We need to be taking the time to connect, and it's going to help ourselves in the process. I think, for me, I noticed just even how much happier I have been just in dropping that first YouTube video or creating videos for myself. I think you guys saw it, but like when I took that day in Chicago to shoot the Sony Z200 camcorder video, I was just so happy filming because it was like this freedom of, I don't have to right now, like I don't have to get this shot for the client. Like I could do what I want. And I think that's kind of what I've missed over the last couple of years is creating for myself and for the love of it. Like I absolutely love what I do and I take my work very personal and I'm cool with that and I'm proud of that. But I don't take enough time to just create something for me. I used to even shoot a lot of like our family content, with like my business cameras and on the high quality cameras, but I haven't done as much of that. And part of that is my family's gotten bigger and the business has grown and gotten bigger, but I miss that. Like I miss creating for fun. I miss creating for the love of it. I miss sharing those moments. And, I want to share more of that here. And I just want to say Happy New Year. Thank you for following the channel, The Film Connector. I'm Alex Belville. Let's get connected.